Tonight on Cougar News, a critical path is once again open for Santa Clarita drivers.
Plus, is College of the Canyons ready for a campus emergency?
And the pack is alive with the sounds of electronica. Cougar News starts now.
This is Cougar News.
Hello and welcome to Cougar News. I'm Calista Reyes.
And I'm Alana Martinez. Here's the latest from the Cougar Newsroom. Emergency preparedness can help save a life. COC takes precautions on what will happen if an active shooter becomes present on campus grounds. Annie Behenna tells us more.
Preparing ahead for an emergency such as an earthquake, bomb threat, or an active shooter is a great pathway to staying safe. Recently, College of the Canyons had an active shooter drill in Mentry Hall, and many students and staff members learned different precautions on how to stay safe. Dr. Michael Walding, the Assistant Superintendent of Student Services, details on what the college has learned during the event drill.
This drill had several things that we wanted to accomplish. One, we wanted our incident command team to practice using their two-way radios. We also wanted to practice sending an emergency notification to the student population, which we did.
Students that were not present in Mentry Hall the day of the drill did receive warning before with texts and email. However, many of them did not, and Dr. Michael Walding speaks on how to resolve the issue and what COC has done differently since the drill.
Half the students in class are going to get the emergency notification message. And because of their cell service or their phones are off, they're not listening, it's on silent, whatever. So our messaging needs to include words that say, tell other people. So if you got a message, you need to stand up and shout, hey, we're supposed to shelter in place. You know, look, it's on my phone. Because only half your class or less will have gotten that message. So we learned that.
Recently, Ohio State University had an active shooter on campus, with one critically hurt and 11 minorly injured. With this unfortunate news, COC students speak out on how the active shooter drill has helped them prepare and what precautions they will take in the future.
For this week's news, I'm Annie Behenna.
In the aftermath of the 2016 presidential election, College of the Canyon students are reacting to the new president-elect. Cougar News reporter Adrian Sellis has the latest on the story.
As the presidential election closes, many COC students are still trying to take in the shocking upset victory of Donald Trump. We asked students how they feel about Trump and whether we as a society should embrace the new commander-in-chief.
No, he's not a good person. He's misogynistic, racist, homophobic, xenophobic, so I think we should do everything we can to fight against him and the type of people who would support him.
Just accept the fact that he is who he is, but personally, as a person, he doesn't affect me, but as a nation, he affects us, so it is what it is.
At the end, I don't know. At the end of the day, he's still a person, and I'm very optimistic, so I always believe that there can still be a chance that he can do something for us. Just keep open arms, but still protect yourself and know what might be coming.
We then asked the students how they feel moving forward with our new president-elect.
I think the next step is just resisting all of his policies, like dismantling the EPA. He's going to get rid of the Iran deal, the Paris Accord, things like that. We have to find a way to keep things like that together.
As you can tell, students are still accepting the fact that he is our new president, and they're doing it in the most positive way. The student body at COC here is trying to move forward, and we'll see what President Trump could do for the next 4 years. For Cougar News, I'm Adrian Sellis.
As more Americans read news over social media, many media experts worry that users can't tell the difference between fake and real news. Mauricio LaPlante talks to a political science professor and journalist to find what we should look for online.
In light of political campaigns full of angry discourse and fact denial, many worry about social media users' inability to tell fake news apart from real news. But how much of a problem should we consider it?
Well, the whole fake news phenomenon is kind of like fake news itself because it is so incredibly hyped by the mainstream media. It's not as big of a problem as it's made out to be.
Although many think that the main problem is that readers can't identify credibility, spreading fake news fits a trend in which readers spread stories that reflect their own beliefs.
You know, I would say one of the best things you can do, and I say this every semester to my students, and on the first day of class, you should read a wide array of news sources. You should not read just news sources that confirm what you already believe, and we have a name for that in media studies. It's called confirmation bias, that you're sort of seeking out the things that confirm what you already believe about the world. You should read things, particularly news sources, that go against what you believe, and that might challenge you to think in a different way.
Although readers should read stories from various authors that have different perspectives on an issue, it is also on the news organization's part to publish more diverse stories.
Well, the news media does have a problem that it's perceived by half the country as being very liberally biased, and so they should work on that. If you pretend to be a down-the-middle, unbiased news source like the New York Times, the LA Times, USA Today, you better work on being perceived as being down the middle. Right now they're not. Right now they're losing the battle because conservatives are tuning them out. If they want to bring conservatives back, they're going to have to redouble their efforts to be unbiased.
But to avoid the two-sided battles that argue in a my belief is better than yours fashion, the key is to stop focusing on the spread of fake news and focus more on others' arguments.
I'm the faculty advisor for Political Science Club, and we have people from all across the political spectrum in there. And one of the things that I try to teach the students is we have to learn how to talk to each other. We can't keep talking past each other. We have to learn how to have a genuine dialogue. If you don't agree with someone, that's fine. You are free to disagree with anyone over anything. That is your right. But you don't have to trash the person.
Perhaps to stop defending a mine is better than yours argument, we must acknowledge everybody's perspective on an issue so we could make our own change.
The faster route or the safer route? Which one do COC students prefer? Vazquez Canyon Road finally reopened nearly a year after it was destroyed by a landslide. Cougar News reporter Tanner Nava has more.
Ready? 1, 2, 3. Woohoo! Yeah.
Vazquez Canyon Road has finally reopened a year after the huge landslide that severely damaged the road. The landslide caused severe buckling of the soil and pavement. Now that the road has finally reopened, how do COC students feel about using the road?
It wouldn't bother me. I'd still drive down there.
I think so. Yeah, I think I'll drive it one day if I need to get, if there's a lot of traffic or something, I want to bypass that. I'll probably drive it. But
The reopening of the road should make commuting much easier for students. However, will the fear of a landslide happening again make students uneasy about using the road?
if it happened once, there's a possibility it can happen again. I would still probably take the road, but it would just be really unfortunate if I were to be on it if something happened again. You never know when those things happen.
I think it was just a freak thing, like a one-time thing. It maybe happen again, but not anytime soon.
Although some students were skeptical, none of them said that they would no longer use the road.
Overall, most students do feel comfortable using this road. However, they did acknowledge that they will drive it with caution. For Cougar News, I'm Tanner Nava.
Today marks an unforgettable anniversary on flying for the holidays. You might want to carefully choose your airline. Tanner has more.
Thanks, guys. Today marks the 75th anniversary of a day that will forever live in infamy. On December 7, 1941, Japanese bombers screamed into Pearl Harbor, killing more than 2,000 American soldiers and sailors and injuring 1,000 more. The 2-hour aerial assault also destroyed 8 battleships, including the USS Arizona. Shortly after the attack, President Franklin Roosevelt officially declared war on Japan. Also, an end of an era and the start of a new one. Later this afternoon, longtime COC Board of Trustee Bruce Fortine will make way for Dr. Edel Alonzo. The former Academic Senate President unseated Fortine on Election Day. Today marks her first day on the job. Fortine is a founding board member first elected to the position in 1967. Under his leadership, COC added a second campus in Canyon Country, built the Performing Arts Center, and the Dr. Diane G. Van Hook University Center. And finally, if you plan on using United Airlines for an upcoming trip this new year, expect to pay more. The company says it will now start charging flyers an extra fee for using the overhead bin. Customers who choose to book with United's basic economy fare will only be able to place a small item under the seat. If you want to use an overhead bin, the cost has yet to be announced. And that's what's trending. I'm Tanner Nava, and for more stories in and around the Santa Clarita Valley, you can check us out at cougarnews.com. Callista, Alana, back to you guys.
Did you know at College of the Canyons, we have a club that is trying to change the world one step at a time? Monica Rodriguez has more.
Breezy Thomas, president and creator of
It's called My Generation, My Fight. And so we modified the name here at COC to My Gen, My Fight, COC.
Thompson was inspired to move forward creating My Gen, My Fight from an organization called
Zoe International, and they rescue children in Thailand and soon to be Los Angeles from human trafficking.
The club is located at Student Center Room 128, currently meeting once a week.
What we do is we either have a guest speaker come in to provide that educational element to our club, or we also do a lot of brainstorming at this point. Because we are a new club, we've only been around for a few months, we're still actually implementing all the groundwork of what it is this club will look like on campus. But we have the educational aspect coming into play, but we also have that action step.
Thompson's action step is applying for her fellow club members and vice president, Jessica Murphy, to participate in
the Zoe Walk. It was over in Sylmar at LA Mission College, and we walked just a short little walk from LA Mission College to Carrizo Park. And basically along the walk, there was a story at different stops being told of a survivor of trafficking. So we got to learn a little bit more about her story. And then at the finish line, they had vendors and pop-up shops of like types of retail that supports human trafficking, raising money for it, or providing jobs for survivors of trafficking.
Thompson sees My Gen, My Fight Club in the future to be partnered with other organizations to bring an educational awareness of human trafficking to Santa Clarita Valley, middle school, high school, and other colleges. You can find more information on My Gen, My Fight Club Facebook page. Here at College of the Canyons, I'm Monica Rodriguez for Cougar News.
With the semester coming to a close, all of us need some time for relaxation, right? Here's Ryan Sullivan with more on COC's unique approach to handling final-related stress.
Finals can be a stressful time for any student, and the COC Student Health and Wellness Center has come up with a very adorable way to combat it. Therapy dogs.
By having the dogs there, I think it helped bring students together, and it helped them to be able to see a little less stressful time even in all these hard times.
Students can come up and say hello to the dogs and, of course, pet them. In addition to that, there is also a bucket of squeeze toys that students can pick up, as well as packets that mention 101 ways to relieve stress.
And by having free Scantrons, there's a little bit opportunity for financial stress, and giving us the resources that we have, we can also lead them towards the resources in our health center.
Though they are only here for a short time, spending a few minutes with these lovely animals can certainly brighten anyone's day.
We've definitely been able to see students have a better time or less stressed. A lot of people, I think it enlightens their day. It definitely makes finals, just gives them a moment of peace.
Now, of course, not everyone has the time to interact with therapy dogs. So now they have this advice to offer for those that still want to find a way to relieve their stress during finals week.
I would say taking a walk, is a great way to relieve stress. Talking with friends, maybe studying in a group, and just making time for yourself is always essential in these stressful times. Because I always find personally that when I make time for myself, then I'm more efficient in the time I study for finals.
For Cougar News, I'm Ryan Sullivan.
One of the biggest challenges facing college students is choosing a career path. But one local man found his passion early on and transformed that passion into success.
Welcome. My name is Lamont. We're on the Wild here. Some magazine I think I did last year is called Four Guys. You see my name right there.
Lamont Roberson is a fashion photographer from Santa Clarita, and at 21 years old, he is already making quite the name for himself.
It's Four Guys magazine, and Maxim magazine, Arsenic magazine. They're the biggest brand on Snapchat. Complex, Noisy Radio. I've worked with Little Debbie. She's a great person. Shot her debut album cover.
Why hire Lamont? Well, other than his eye for pictures, close friend and local model Jennifer Elo seems to put it simply enough.
Because I knew him for a while, and I knew that he wasn't creepy. Like, there's a lot of photographers out there, like guys that'll try to shoot girls and then be really creepy about it, but he's never been like that. I've never gotten that vibe from him.
So how did Lamont land this seemingly perfect job? And more importantly, how can you? If that's what you want, of course.
It's always to stay connected with people, branch out, don't be shy, never sell out, make sure you're original, because if you're not original, then what are you going to bring to the plate, because there's already someone doing it better than you.
Reporting for Cougar News, I'm Sean Guerra. And pick up a camera. You never know what might happen.
Coming up on Cougar News, have a sweet tooth during this holiday season? We might have the place for you.
Plus, students have a new outlet for talk and music. Stay tuned.
The American Red Cross urgently needs blood and platelet donations and asks donors to schedule an appointment to give now. Every 2 seconds, someone in the United States needs blood. Your blood donation is critical and can help save lives. Please, schedule an appointment today. Download the Blood Donor app, visit redcrossblood.org, or call 1-800-RED-CROSS today. You can make a difference.
They've been very caring. They care about every single student that's in the class.
Yeah, everyone seems to be pretty friendly with each other. No one's really afraid to ask each other for help.
Working with other people, not being ornery, actually listening to what people say, collaborating with them to create a really good product.
It's great to use the same stuff the pros use, especially at a community college.
Hopefully we give them a pathway to have their creativity showcased.
I've gotten a great education.
I love the access to equipment.
I've made lifelong friendships.
I have great teachers.
You're watching Cougar News.
With the amount of technology keeping us connected, one club on campus has found a way to bring a new and creative voice to campus. Gilbert Bernal has to tell us more.
At the top of Mentry Hall, a team of students band together for one common cause:
to create a platform for students to have a voice on campus.
With 65 plus student clubs and an average of 23,000 students attending College of the Canyons annually, the number of students can make an individual feel voiceless amongst the class. Here is how a team of MEA students at College of the Canyons are working to solve this problem.
Teamwork. Yeah, we're just trying to work together as a team to make sure that we're giving the student body what they want.
Pretty much be that our own COC station where we're just fully functioning.
It's just another way for students to kind of express their voice on campus.
Making sure that their voice is heard and they know where they can hear their voice.
As I said, we want this to be a voice for students, which includes all student activities, club events.
Students join on-campus clubs to learn more in their field of study outside the classroom. Club members are given the opportunities to develop their skills by working on projects as a team.
College of the Canyons Radio has the potential to strengthen the bond between students and clubs, whether it's keeping students up to date with the club's most recent activities or just information on how to join. Reporting for Cougar News, I'm Gilbert Bernal.
If you want to listen to Canyons Radio, be sure to look them up on the web under speaker.com. Just make sure you search for Canyons Radio.
At the Performing Arts Center, students made new meaning from poetry outside of the classroom. Mauricio LaPlante reports.
Away from the cold, students gathered to listen to poems defying racism and hate from National Book Award-winning poet Robin Lewis.
So happy to be here.
Robin Coast Lewis writes about the representation of black women in the Western art tradition primarily, and also later work by black women and black gay artists. And I think that idea of representation means quite a bit given the current political context where people are wondering where they fit in.
Giving the book its title, Lewis wrote a poem praising the aesthetic beauty of a painting meant to demean and categorize.
Late 1700s etching that is based on a late 1700s poem. Within the poem, it's a pro-slavery poem. This fabulous Brit writes this poem that talks about the equal opportunities of raping a woman, that it doesn't matter if you rape a white woman or a black woman at night because it's dark and you can't tell and so you won't know the difference. It's a heinous poem. It was very much celebrated, and so people went on to illustrate it, right? First there was an etching, and then there was a painting in 1801. Now, the etching, super ironically, is gorgeous.
I think what students should get out of that is a method of perception. So, not to say that we can look at anything and make it into something else, but that it should sharpen our aesthetic perception of things. Because, while she's looking at that sort of pro-rape etching, from which the title of The Voyage of the Sable Venus comes from, she sees it as beautiful and then also understands its repellent nature, right? The actual message that it's advocating. And yet she can still see something within it that is beautiful. And if you can rescue what's beautiful in the mire, you might be able to make something out of it that is on its own, beautiful and also maybe ethical.
Although Lewis has a big name now, her poems invite the reader to make meaning of the past and current racism in our culture, rather than ignore it. For Cougar News, this is Mauricio LaPlante.
Ever drop by a flower shop? It not only smells great, but it looks great too. So who's behind such simple beauty? Deani Ellis introduces us to one such person that is a short drive from the Santa Clarita Valley.
It's always a great morning when you're able to wake up and smell the flowers. We were able to sit with the person who makes it all. Michelle Doss tells us how it all began.
6 years old. I work for Vazquez Company. I've been working for the company for 10 years. I started when I was 17.
Michelle is the youngest manager in her store, and as the holidays come on by, she's working extra hard to keep her department looking great.
This time, it's really stressful. I am the youngest one here. I have a lot to prove to people, and I always do all the holiday displays for every department.
And as she takes us around the store, we see all the holiday displays that she says she has done. She says she has a bit of help, but is mainly doing it all on her own.
On weekends, I do have a lot of help, but during the week, it's kind of rough because I'm by myself.
She says she loves working at this store. However,
do you see myself getting my own Photoshop? I am taking business classes, so one day I hope to get what I want, and that's my own shop.
She learned all of her techniques from...
I learned from Susan. She was the first floor manager I ever met. I was just curious, so I always go ask her, and she finally trained me, and she showed me so much, and then I just learned from different managers different things.
And now, with years of practice,
now that I've picked up all those techniques, I kind of just do new things and put them together from whoever I've learned things from, and I just make something my own now.
And we're going to let Michelle get back to work. I'm Deani Ellis from Cougar News. Thanks for watching.
Despite the cold weather, many people are out shopping, and not just for Christmas presents. The holiday season is the busiest time of the year for bakeries. The best place in Santa Clarita to get custom desserts is Clarissa's Cakes and Candy Supply, right here in Newhall on Lyons Avenue.
My name is Nancy Olmos, and I'm the owner of Clarissa's Cake and Candy Supply in Newhall.
Not only do they accept custom orders and sell baking supplies, but they also offer classes to help people learn how to do things by themselves in the comfort of their own homes.
Basic cake decorating is our number one, and that's a 5-week course for $50 plus your supplies. And then we have an advanced class also that branches out into airbrushing and sculpting and those kind of things. We have candy classes. The first Tuesday of every month is a chocolate class, and that's $5. It's the best $5 anybody ever spent.
During the Christmas holiday, they hold a charity event for children and families.
Festival of Trees, we just finished that. It was last weekend. And we sponsored the gingerbread houses, and we give the gingerbread houses to people in the community, Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts, youth groups, and just private families that want to decorate a house. And then they give it back to me, and then we take it to the Festival of Trees, and they're silent auctioned.
Everybody knows each other. New people come in, and they're part of the family. Everybody loves it. It's just a fun place to be.
Clarice Seacrest's legacy lives on as her bake shop is #1 in Santa Clarita. For more news and info, visit cougarnews.com. I'm Alana Martinez.
Students and faculty flocked to the College of the Canyons to check out a unique and cultural experience. And as Garrett Waddell tells us, there's plenty to celebrate.
Welcome to the International Music and Dance Festival.
Spanish professor Rod Duqueda makes a warm welcome to attendees of College of the Canyon's annual International Music and Dance Festival. Hosted by the school's Modern Language Department, this event promises music, dance, and fun. Band member Antonio Curiel shares his experience about the day.
I played some flamenco guitar with my group Tres Grandes, which is translated to three big because we're all three big guys. You have all these different languages coming together. You have English, Spanish, French, German, Italian, whatever you name it. And it's just great that everybody can come together and just, enjoy the culture of everything, whether it's dance, music, art. Just beautiful that COC puts it together, and it has a lot of diversity.
And speaking of diversity, not only college students are getting involved. Local high school students contributed by performing a medley of traditional folk dancing wearing proper attire. In addition to the performance, guests were invited to dance the marinera, which is following the beat with flowing cloth in the performer's hand. And as always, ending the song with a traditional. He would later give performer Antonio Curiel a demonstration on percussion using a drumstick and a donkey's jaw. One of the highlights was the dancers later in the evening. The local high school students performed traditional dance with the women wearing vivid dresses with long flowy sleeves. At the end of the night, Spanish-themed dances were performed accompanied by a live band to close the night. And here at College of the Canyons, students and faculty are celebrating diversity at the International Music and Dance Festival. For Cougar News, I'm Garrett Waddell.
Looks like we have more talent than we thought in Santa Clarita, with upcoming aspiring artists and local music events. As I pass it to John Nathaniel with more details, I'd also like to wish him a happy birthday.
Thanks, Alana. You might have heard of J. Cole or Kendrick Lamar, but there is a local artist that's trailblazing the scene here in Los Angeles, California. His gritty style and illustrative lyrics has caught the eyes and ears of today's youth and is certainly making some noise. Young Knox is a hip-hop artist based out of Los Angeles, California. Exposed to the studio life at an early age, he quickly developed a love for recording music of his own.
I started doing music, messing with my father. My father was a A&R for Babyface when I was younger, so I just always be in the studio around sessions and different artists, and it just inspired me to want to make music, being around producers and other rappers and stuff like that.
Come from the bottom, quickly approaching the top though. You know you get money when your condo on the top floor. You Super 8, my flow is like the Palazzo. And if I ain't the top 5, then I'm in the top 4. Niggas run they mouth, they should host a talk show. Anytime, any place, watch them niggas not show.
Young Knox continues to compete with California's top hip-hop artists.
I think now everybody's they could be theyself, and that's the problem. Like, back then I was more inspired by like the real dope lyricists who had something to say.
Okay.
But now I'm still kind of inspired by the new dudes because some of it's terrible, so that kind of inspires me too. Like, if they could get on, anybody could get on.
Yeah, definitely. Young Knox talks about his relationship with Rob Kardashian.
Rob is my boy. He supports my music a lot. He's just a good friend, and you know, anything I need music-wise, you know, he there to help me out. Whether it be promotion or just, you know, pretty much anything, he just support me.
As we anticipate his junior mixtape, he promises to deliver on deep, relatable lyrics and a project like no other. For Cougar News, I'm John Nathaniel. Do you have a broad taste in music? If you want to support the local music scene, Electronica Musique is the show to be at. We have Richard Andell to tell us more.
COC hosted a unique concert experience last Wednesday.
This is a multimedia concert of students from this campus, and we made a bunch of beautiful creations for you guys tonight. Are you guys ready? Oh, come on. You guys can do way better than that. Are you guys ready? Are you guys ready?
I can see the stars in the galaxy. The genres featured ranged from experimental acts.
It is a piece that explores madness. It explores the consequences of war.
To a rap concert. Others perform classical composition or electronic sets.
It was a lot of fun. It was a great learning experience for a lot of us. Really diverse field. I think the event went pretty well. I really enjoy how we are able to have this event. We have these types of programs that allow us to channel our creativity, and not only that, but enhance our creativity through the help of our professor, Bernardo.
Bernardo Feldman put the event together to provide a space for the musical artists to perform.
The students are really producing music that is at the level of whatever you hear outside of campus, on the radio, and so on and so forth.
I think it's important that people emphasize on more experimental bases with music.
Electronica Musica was truly a sight to behold. That's it for me. I'm Richard Andell.
Long live rock. Drop Zone has been playing classic rock hits in the Santa Clarita Valley for almost 15 years. Matt Lincoln, Mike Mason, Bruce Ramsey.
Playing a wide selection of rock hits, a local Santa Clarita Valley band has kept playing and jamming together for almost 15 years. Zach Ferber has more.
Dave Barry, Larry Osborne, and Glenn Riley all have a love for playing rock music. It all started for Matt Lincoln after he received a phone call to have a jam session.
We kind of just fell together. There were a couple of the guys were jamming down the street, and Bruce Ramsey, the bass player, called me. I'd known him. I coached his daughters and my daughter in soccer, and he said, "Hey, we're jamming down the street. Do you want to come and join the guys?" And I think you'd probably fit in. You'd probably like these guys.
Matt recalls his favorite moment was when he played for thousands of Santa Clarita Valley residents at the concerts in the park.
And I remember looking out from the stage to looking at all the people and thinking, there's a good chance I'll never see this again in my life.
I spoke with guitarist and vocalist Mike Mason and asked whether he prefers an all-acoustic set versus an electric set. And he says one's definitely harder than the other.
This is a lot harder. This is way harder. Electric, in loudness, you can kind of hide behind if you forget something, but here everything's out there. So
lastly, I spoke with one of Drop Zone's founding members, Steve Ferber. The drummer was there since the beginning, but moved down to San Diego 10 years ago.
Steve Ferber, everybody, original Drop Zone drummer.
He was featured tonight and sat in on the drums for 2 songs.
Bruce Ramsey, the bass player, and I go way, way back. And he said, let's jam. We jammed together with Mike, and then Matt joined us, and then Glenn joined us, and before you know it, we had a band.
For more information on Drop Zone, check them out at their own website, dropzone-band.com. For Cougar News, this is Zach Ferber.
Well, I think between the local bands and artists we have here in Santa Clarita, it's safe to say we're in a talented city. Back to you guys.
Still to come on Cougar News, the Senior Center was the center of attention for a very good reason.
Plus, how are the Cougar men and women doing on the hardwood? Zach Ferber is in next with sports. Don't go anywhere.
In a home fire, can your family safely escape in 2 minutes?
I heard my oldest son holler for mommy, and all I could see was smoke. The boys, we never really worked with them, I guess, on telling them what to do if there's a fire. We lost our child. We lost everything.
Make sure you can safely escape a fire. Practice your 2-minute drill. Test your smoke alarms monthly. Make your plan today.
College of the Canyons creates possibilities.
It's a gateway to opportunities.
A place where students learn they can believe in themselves.
Behind every possibility at College of the Canyons are the people.
Together we focus on achieving success, one student at a time.
That focus is a reflection of what we value.
It defines who we are.
We are. We are.
We are College of the Canyons.
You're watching Cougar News.
Welcome back. Americans consumed 46 million turkeys this past Thanksgiving, but perhaps none more tasty nor special than in Newhall on Thanksgiving morning. And as our Louis Diaz explains, it took a village.
Thanksgiving. It's a day to be with family and to share what you are thankful for. The Castaic Lions Club gives up a part of their Thanksgiving to go serve the seniors at the Santa Clarita Senior Center a warm meal.
So what we do on that day, we send home about 250 home-delivered meals for people who are homebound and cannot come to the Senior Center. We also take in this case, 270 people that came for a meal that day, and we give them a meal to go home.
It's not only the Castaic Lions Club that makes this event possible.
Mashed potatoes from Salt Creek Grill. The vegetables come from the Tournament Players Club, which is the country club, the Oaks Grill. And the rolls come from Chi-Chi's.
The club gets high schoolers and middle schoolers to come help as well.
We are outside welcoming the seniors, and sometimes we'll walk them in to get seated, and then the people inside, they're serving them food.
This event was started about 35 years ago by the Santa Clarita Lions Club and was run a little bit differently back then.
My Lions Club, we came the night before, peeled potatoes, cut up veggies, got everything prepped. 3 or 4 of the Lions came at 5 o'clock in the morning and started cooking everything.
You could tell that the seniors love this event.
They had a student violinist and they had entertainment, you know.
So what is it about this event that people are willing to give up a part of their Thanksgiving to keep coming back and serving?
Because our senior citizens are our most valuable resource.
For Cougar News, I'm Louis Diaz.
Running, donations, and bringing families closer together on a Thanksgiving morning. Sounds like fun, but all three came together just hours before local residents sat down at that annual turkey dinner. The Paseo Club annual Turkey Trot, which takes place in Valencia, California. The event is a 5K where members and non-members run and donate a turkey and an unwrapped toy for the JCI Santa Clarita's Santa's Helpers Foundation. The turkeys and toys will be given to a less fortunate child out here in our local area.
This is our Thanksgiving turkey trot that we have every year, and it's to raise, we're getting donations from everybody.
Well, I've been at the Paseo Club for 9 years, and we do 5Ks periodically. We do always on Thanksgiving. Sometimes we do Mother's Day and Father's Day. It's just a great way for families to get out, especially they can bring their kids and have a great time. So I'm thankful for my job at Paseo. I love my job here. I love motivating people to exercise and to do things out of their comfort zone. And I'm thankful for my family and my golden retriever here. And lots of things to be thankful for today.
With a great turnout for the turkey trot and with the overflowing toys, happy holidays. I'm Calista Reyes for Cougar News. Even in the winter sports is a hot topic. Zach Ferber has all the details.
Thanks, guys. We got plenty of sports to talk about today. The fall semester may be wrapping up here at COC, but the COC men's basketball team is not even halfway through the season. The Cougars, who just finished a tournament in San Jacinto, will have a home game this Friday. The Cougars are hosting Antelope Valley College at the Cougar Cage. Game time is at 7 p.m., and then a week from tomorrow, the Cougars travel to Saddleback. The COC women have also spent plenty of time on the road this fall. The Cougars played 3 games this past weekend at the Contra Costa Classic in San Pablo. Last time out, the Cougars lost to Yuba College, 85-58. The Cougars are off until they play a week from Friday in the tournament at Antelope Valley College in Lancaster. In fact, they play 9 more on the road before finally returning home to play Antelope Valley on January 6th in Citrus the following night. Drew Woltarski headlines a big semester for local football players putting up productive numbers in Division I football. The former Canyons High product wraps up his senior season with 61 catches and 5 touchdowns for Minnesota. He will play in the Holiday Bowl later this month against Washington State. Another impact player is former COC speedster Tim White. The Arizona State senior caught 56 balls for 713 yards and a pair of touchdowns. He's expected to get a good look for the draft this coming April. Running may be the oldest sport we know of, and depending on who you ask, their least favorite to work out and to do. For one Cal Lutheran track athlete, it has helped him shape who he is today.
For some people, running is just an everyday exercise. For others, it's more of a lifestyle. One of those people is Zachary Sochi. Zach started running in his hometown of Santa Clarita Valley. Zach feels that running has also helped him in many ways during his life. Zachary has also faced many obstacles that almost kept him from running. While Zachary does know that he can't run forever, he does want to do something else in the sport after he's done. Overall, Zach feels running helped him a lot in his life and can help a lot of others. With your Cougar Spotlight, I'm Travis Cunha.
For more information on Cal Lutheran's track team, check them out online at clusports.com. That'll wrap it up for me at sports. Alana and Calista, back to you guys.
Thank you, Zach. What has 38 hands and brings a swing? The answer is the County Basie, Orchestra. Reporter Ian Murray is live on the scene at West Ranch High.
The legendary Count Basie Orchestra played a sold-out show at West Ranch High School on Monday night. The group has been active for 82 years and is currently led by trumpeter Scotty Barnhart. In addition, the band also includes renowned musicians like guest vocalist Carmen Bradford, 22-year-old Santa Clarita native Ray Nelson II on drums, and Doug Miller on saxophone. I spoke with Doug about his experience with the Basie Orchestra.
The main challenge is to blend with the group. There are 13 horns, so we all basically have to think as one, or depending on what's going on in the music. With me being one of 5 saxophones, I have to almost do like a mind meld kind of thing, so that whatever we're playing, it sounds like one section instead of 5 individual musicians. And when all the horns are playing together, we have to sound like, instead of sounding like 13 different horns, individual horns, we need to sound like one unit.
Doug insists that the rigorous touring schedule of the Basie Orchestra is what enables the group to stay sharp and focused for performance.
We would do 10-week tours, 3-week tours. You're playing every night, so you really just get the sense of you understand what everybody's going to be doing on any particular song at any particular point in the music.
For now, Doug looks forward to working on the upcoming Count Basie album.
It's going to be some old classics and some new arrangements, but just some things that have not been recorded.
The upcoming record will be the first release by the group since 2015's A Very Swinging Basie Christmas. The Count Basie Orchestra will continue their tour tomorrow in Oakland, California. For more information on concerts at West Ranch High School, check out westranchmusic.com. Once again, for Cougar News, I'm Ian Murray.
That does it for this edition of Cougar News. I'm Alana Martinez. Remember, you can catch us on the web at cougarnews.com.
And I'm Calista Reyes. You can also send us news tips and story ideas to our Twitter handle, COC_Cougar News. Have a good night, everybody.